What's up, everybody? How we doing? And welcome to the 16th installment of NBA Friday, part of the Riverfront U, which is part of the Riverfront Media Network. Tim Downey here, as always, with my guys, Sean Mackey, Parker Fields. Really fun show today. We're talking All-Star reserves. We're talking best trade deadline trades of all time. And our fantasy draft tonight is our all-time 80s starting five. So a lot to get to. Guys, before we went on the air, we had some rumor skis pop up from some guy that no one's ever heard of in the history of the universe. And I was like, okay, whatever. So, and then I see Sleeper puts it as a push notification. I see Fansided posted, which I wrote for Fansided one time. I can tell you, it's not all that great. Actually, I wrote for Fansided twice. Couldn't think of it. Not
Was
important.
that the Bengal site?
I did a Bengal site and a Red site for them.
Okay.
Yeah. All things considered, this random person that no one's heard of who has like 8,000 followers and has like, I guess, reported things in the past, has put out a rumor that LeBron James is being shopped by the Lakers and they are close to a suitor. So I think the three of us are in agreement. No one of us think he's really going to get traded.
No.
But you got to play with the thought process, right? You have to think about it. You have to be like, okay, maybe they want to try to get off the salary contract before he picks up his player option next year for 51 mil. And, you know, he's going to be 40 years old next year. So maybe they want to pay a 40-year-old that much money. And this is not going well. Like we've talked about all this time. Like I didn't want to talk about the Lakers tonight. I wanted to just not even do it. And we have to because of this thing. But I was like, it makes sense. It kind of makes sense to see if it's worth it. Will they do it? No, they absolutely won't. But of course, it popped up and multiple outlets are picking it up. So it has to be acknowledged that it's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like, yeah, we got to talk about it a little bit. I personally don't see it happening now, but for the fun of it, I'm going to throw out a suitor that makes sense. The Thunder could make it work. They have the cap space to take on his contract. Plus, they can just throw multiple first rounders at LeBron, and the Lakers could get somebody back like Lou Dort or something just to give them a player back too. But yeah, that makes sense. Seriously.
Okay, I'm going to tell you that I hate it. Not because you're not right, because you certainly are.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't want LeBron to get traded, but
it's just the worst looking jersey I can imagine LeBron James wearing.
Yeah, but it makes sense because they have the stuff to give up. They could just throw the Lakers 5 first rounders.
Oh, they for sure could. Utah could do the same thing, which he's not freaking playing.
But yeah, they're not. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see it happening because I don't see LeBron has no trade clause. Correct?
Nope.
He doesn't.
No.
When he renegotiated his deal, there's no trade clause.
He might not. Okay, but he still.
But he still has control over.
Yeah, they're not. Nobody's gonna trade LeBron to Oklahoma City, in my opinion. I just can't see it happening. The only places I could see him playing are like Miami, Golden State, or the Knicks. But Golden State, why would you want to go to a team in a worse situation than you're already in?
Right.
Like Golden State is worse off than the Lakers are right now. So why would you want to go there? The Knicks, I don't know what they would offer, but like I just don't, and same with Miami. I just don't see him going anywhere that wouldn't be a big market at this point in his career.
Well, okay, the only caveat I'll give to that is I fully believe whether it's he plays for them or he signs a one-day deal, he retires with the Cavs. I think it happens.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But I don't think it's going to happen like right now.
Yeah. So the Cavs was what obviously I was like, that could be kind of fun. You throw in like Max Strus and you throw in like Jared Allen and you just move Mobley to center and have LeBron play the 4 the way you throw Karis LeVert in, the Lakers get all their shooters they need. I'm like, sure. Not going to happen. Miami could definitely be a conversation again. This is not just because he's played for this team, obviously. It's because there's been a lot of conversation on like ESPN and a bunch of places of like, would you do Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero for LeBron? And we know damn well if he was available, Pat Riley would be like, yeah, come on back.
Yeah,
we'll take you.
It doesn't make sense for me to hear LeBron traded for Max Strus, the first couple first rounders. Like
Well, here's the thing.
I don't want to switch my fandom in the middle of the season, man. Anthony Davis, dude, too. So, like, I don't want to switch my fandom.
That's the other portion of this too. Is
in the second round is the Lakers, then him go to OKC and lose in the conference finals. Like, man, I don't want to watch that.
I don't understand the logic behind this rumor at all. I mean, you've got one of the best players still on the planet, and you're going to trade him just because he's a certain age and he's going to opt into $50 million. Since when are the LA Lakers scared of paying $50 million?
right.
You're paying Anthony Davis $70 million a year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a team that's always operated since Bus took over the franchise on we're going to spend money. Like we're going to spend money to make money. And if LeBron leaves, ticket sales go down, everything goes down. Because like Anthony Davis is I'm not going to discredit Anthony Davis, but LeBron James is one of the most recognizable, most profitable athletes you could put on your team right now. And I don't see it happening just so they can get away from 50 million. And also are you really trying to make a run for a title right now? Because
they're not, I mean,
also my question too is like, genuinely, LeBron, I think, is happy living there and his life there.
Absolutely.
And Anthony Davis and him seem to have the best relationship of any like star teammates in the league in terms of like friends and stuff. I don't think he wants to leave. And it's not them the problem. Players come to the Lakers and all of a sudden forget how to shoot, forget how to defend. Like if you watch the Lakers games, like Taurean Prince, for example, been in great role player his whole career. All of a sudden now he's horrible. If you watch the Lakers a lot, you've been seeing it.
I mean,
it's just like
here's the thing though, and here's the caveat to all that. So when LeBron has historically left a franchise,
they die.
They usually have all these pieces that in particular fit him. Like they are there to fit his style. As soon as he leaves, those pieces don't act as a cohesive unit to, build towards the future or anything like that. It's like when he leaves a team, they basically have to completely ship everybody off and rebuild to actually be able to compete because there's no way that roster is going to fit another player's skill set the way that it fits LeBron's. So that's the other thing. It's like, I just, I'm like, I kind of get that. Like, okay, let's just go ahead and, tear the Band-Aid off now. And it's like, yeah, but you have a chance at, a title at any time if you have LeBron James on your team. I mean, last year they made a real nice run at the end of the season. They need to obviously make some moves during the trade deadline. I'm hoping they do, but
me too.
Yeah.
So
they will. They
always brought up two really, really good points I want to make mention of. Sean brought up the fact that the Lakers don't, basically said in paraphrasing, the Lakers don't trade superstars. And I know before you say they traded Shaq, it's because they had a superstar that said, I don't want to play with Shaq anymore.
And he was a much younger star.
Exactly.
So that's why they went with it.
And then two, there's no rebuilding around Anthony Davis if LeBron leaves. He's not staying there if LeBron leaves. He's like, dude, okay, if he's out,
he's probably gonna go wherever LeBron goes.
Like either put me in the trade or send me to Chicago so I can play at home. That's gonna be his thing. Like he's gonna be like, he's like, I'm not fucking going back to North. I'm trying to clean up the language on the shows here lately. So that was an accident. I apologize. But he's like, I'm not gonna go back to New Orleans. No, I'm not gonna go to Brooklyn. Like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to Boston. They had their chance. No. So. Ugh. I think that if you're in that circumstance with the Lakers, there's nothing there. And look, I mean, this DeJounte Murray thing sounds.
It doesn't sound good to me. I'm gonna be completely honest. D'Angelo Russell, I don't think is the problem. Really, they need more wing defenders and more wing shooting. I don't think it's like if you give it D'Angelo Russell, who the hell is gonna score when those two aren't on? Like if they're not on the floor, who the hell is gonna score? That's my problem. And he's been awesome as of late too. And it's just like I hate D'Angelo Russell. Like I'm a big D'Angelo Russell hater, but personally, right now, I just don't think it's the best move for the Lakers because I don't think they have enough scoring to get rid of him.
I would say that I like the idea of D'Angelo Russell.
I like the idea of Caruso getting back in the Lakers. That's what I like.
Yeah, I do too. Something that's the one that makes most sense to me. If you get like Caruso and you get like Bruce Brown, I
Mhm.
like that situation.
Bruce Brown's a good one too. That's excellent.
Yeah, because there's no way he stays. I do not want them to get Kyle Lowry. I have no
Oh,
interest whatsoever in
no.
Kyle Lowry playing for the
That just
Lakers. Like,
screams Lakers pickup, though. I'm gonna be
it
honest.
does. It really does. It sounds like it's going to be a situation where it's like the Lakers,
38-year-old Hall of Fame point
right?
guard, bring him with LeBron
We've
and
seen this
AD in the
before.
retirement home.
It's Steve Nash too in Los Angeles.
I don't know.
Ugh.
Like I just think with the Lakers, it's kind of like, yeah, they're struggling, but I think they'll, like, by the end of the season, I just feel like it's going to end up being they'll be like 45-37, be the 6 or the 7 seed, and they'll beat whoever 2 or 3 seed they play in the first round. That's because I think they're going to play the Thunder probably or the Grizzlies, because I think the Clippers are going to end up catching both of them by the season's end and be the 1 seed, and I think they would. Or not the Grizzlies, the Timberwolves. Sorry, but I would.
They're the same thing.
I would take them in a first round series over either of those teams. To be honest
would
with
too.
you, even with how they're performing, it's just kind of like I just can't tell if they're serious all the time. If you watch Lakers games, like I can't tell how bad they're really trying.
They are the most irritating basketball team to watch. It's not because they suck, because I mean they're not very good. But if you look at their roster, you're like, oh, if they're like try to be competitive that night, they should win most nights. And it's like there's a lot of nights where it's like, oh, there's that guy they're like, they don't fight over screens.
It's Vando playing his heart out every second and everybody else just kind of lollygagging around the floor.
Yeah.
I know you weren't watching the game tonight, Tim. He was a menace before he got hurt. He probably had 12 deflections in the first half. Jason Tatum hates his life when Jared Vanderbilt guards him. He can't do anything because he's that good of a defender. And he was hitting threes too, which was shocking.
That's fun. I like the
idea of him and Caruso on the perimeter guarding people. I really do like that idea.
Because at this point, when people are like, LeBron doesn't play defense, I'm like, guys, he's 39. Like, let's just let it go. I don't think Kareem was playing much defense either. He was just really tall.
He does in the big moments. He does in the big moments. Like the playoffs, he tries on defense, but you can't get him to play 82 games of defense.
Dude, he probably got robbed of that Defensive Player of the Year award that he was supposed to get from Marc Gasol and was like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore. Peace.
Yeah, I try my hardest and I don't even get rewarded for it, so I'm done.
Yeah. Well, I think we spent 12 minutes longer than I intended to on that conversation, but let's kind of get to a couple things around the league because there's a lot going on. We now know the All-Star rosters with an asterisk because we know now Joel Embiid's not going to play because he's hurt.
Randall probably, there'll be a spot in the East too.
But he's going to be out for 3 more weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Randall.
I thought you. Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah, so let me pull up. I had the rosters up, and of course, my phone once again just decided to be horrible. Great content, Tim. Joel Embiid's hurt, guys, and that sucks because he has been really awesome, and now the Sixers are basically done because Tyrese Maxey's hurt right now as well. So
he's back tonight. Maxey's playing tonight.
This is what pisses me off about ESPN fantasy basketball. Is they don't send you a notification when the guy's back.
Yeah, he's back tonight.
They send you a notification when it's like, oh, this guy's going to be out for 2 weeks. And it's like the day of the game. You're like, thanks.
Yeah.
But, all right. So here we go. Eastern Conference All-Stars. What the hell? Does someone else have this up? Can someone help me out here?
Yeah, hold up. I'll pull it up real quick.
Thank you. 1 second. By the way, I think the Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu thing is awesome. I'm so pumped they're doing that.
Can I share my screen?
You should be able to.
Is that taking the place of the 3-point competition?
No, they're just doing it them by themselves. It's like a little thing.
Do we have the 3-point contestants?
I don't think they've announced everything yet. I don't know if anyone has confirmed, honestly.
It seems late.
Yeah, it does.
All right, let me share my screen real quick.
Because all we have so far is the rookie and sophomore games.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the rosters for that. Like those.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. All right.
So on Twitter here, you got the East, Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, Tyrese Maxey, and Paolo Banchero.
Paolo's kind of shocking.
Oh,
I think he's had a good year, but I was shocked.
I mean, Trae Young got snubbed. Let's be honest. I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, but he's averaging 28 and 10 or 11.
Tim's cup of tea.
I'm sorry, but at a
Specifically.
certain point when your numbers are
Oh,
that
for
damn
sure.
good, you have to be an all-star. And it's the second straight year he's put up these numbers and didn't make the all-star team. And it's not like they're 10 and 40. Like they're in the play-in. So like I think it's a little ridiculous. There's a 10 seed. I think it's ridiculous he didn't make it.
Why didn't Kobe White make it?
He honestly him and DeRozan were probably. I wouldn't be shocked if DeRozan got Randall's spot for a forward. I wouldn't be shocked.
But if he's traded to the Clippers by the deadline, then he'll have to play on the Western Conference team.
True.
Yeah.
You think who?
Yeah.
Let me hear you guys' ideas for the Julius Randle replacement because it's going to be a forward, right?
Has to be a forward.
Is DeRozan a forward? Technically, I think he's
technically, yeah.
Now.
Technically he plays 3-4. So
yeah. So I would go DeMar DeRozan. Honestly, is who I would go with there.
I can't. Yeah. I don't think Porzingis has done enough to get that spot, even though he's on one of the better teams.
Yeah, maybe Porzingis has a case too. I would say.
What about Jaime Jaquez?
Jaquez? No, I would go Jimmy Butler over that.
I know I was being a smart ass, but
Jimmy Butts.
Yeah, I would go with Butler over Jaquez.
Do you think they randomly if there so happens to throw Siakam in there because he's a Pacer now? And they're like, well, we're hosting it, and he doesn't have to go anywhere.
I mean, yeah, Siakam could be an all-star too. He definitely has a case. I would say it's like DeRozan, Siakam, and then who else did we say?
Butler.
Who was
Butler?
Jimmy Butler. One of those three, I'd say.
Yeah.
Probably not Jimmy Butler though, because he's missed like 20 games already.
What about Jalen Duren, guys? Like, isn't Jalen Duren an option?
What about Bogdanovich? He's putting up 22. Or Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is putting up 22.
Is Duren on the sophomore team? I think he is.
I mean, he should be.
Yeah, he is.
He's a monster.
He's so fun to watch.
Of the Pistons, I'm most confident will be on a great like championship team as a starter at some point. I'm going with Duren.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I think I text you.
Tate has more talent, but I really like Duren.
I think I text you, Parker, after I saw him play against UC in person, and I was like, this guy's going to go in the lottery.
You did, yeah.
And he didn't, but he really should have.
Yes, 100%. He's a monster. I mean, he was the #1 player in his high school class and then reclassified, so.
Yeah, that was the thing that was so amazing about him is he was 17 and just dominating in college.
I'm pretty sure. He's younger than me, correct? I think he is.
Yeah, I think he just turned 19.
If you're younger than me, then you're young. Let me see. Jalen Duren.
Does he just turn 20?
He just turned 20 in this season. He was 19 at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You want to go to the West now?
Yeah, let's get to the West.
All right. So the West, we got Kawhi, AD, D-Book, Ant Edwards, Steph Curry, PG, and Cat.
So there are guys
the Kings are what jumps off the page here.
Yeah, there are definitely guys who I think were deserving of all-stars. Like Fox was definitely deserving of being an all-star. But I was like, who do I put him in over? Because there's no way you're going to replace Steph Curry in an all-star game. It's just not going to happen.
No,
even though in all seriousness, Fox is putting up better numbers than Steph Curry.
For sure. He is.
And on a better team.
I
agree. That's what I was going to say. I'm about to say this because he has the most rabid like defenders. He really didn't deserve to be an all-star this year. Because I'm thinking about Fox having a better season than Steph Curry.
I would say Kobe still has the most insane defenders.
Curry has some defenders too, though. Yeah, Kobe does. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Steph Curry. Absolutely love Steph Curry. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Fox over Curry makes sense. Does Cat get in if he doesn't have that 62-point game?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
that definitely helps.
I mean, Sabonis not being an all-star is kind of crazy too. Like, there's just a lot of talent. If you give
no one cares about the Kings.
Though,
that's what it is.
This is the high-profile names are who made it. Outside of like maybe Cat, but like Paul George. I mean, AD. And like people are saying the Lakers having 10 all-star or 2 all-stars and being the 9 seed is crazy. Yeah, but at the same time, they're still both top 10 players. So it's just the rest of the team sucks. What do you want them to do about that? Like they're both having great seasons.
Yeah, and their coach has no idea how to how to do a rotation whatsoever.
Torian Prince is sleeping with the coach. I'm convinced. So that's my Lakers take.
Look at D'Lo tonight, 13 and 13. It's 3 rebounds away from a triple-double in the Garden.
Yeah, he's hooping.
Yeah, hooping. Yeah, I think the Kings thing makes a lot of sense. That's for sure. It's probably those 2 guys would be the ones I would probably try to put in. None of these guys are hurt for the first time in Western Conference history, so that's shocking.
Yeah, PG's playing in the All-Star game. I feel
Kawhi
like
is playing.
yeah.
Like,
When was the last time Kawhi? I mean,
when he won the MVP in 2020.
The craziest stat is that Kawhi's only played this is only his 6th All-Star appearance. Like,
well, when you don't play for 2 years, and
yeah, PG's made the All-Star team 3 more times than Kawhi. That's just crazy. Because you think about Kawhi having a better career, but I mean, PG's put up better numbers like for throughout the career. It's just Kawhi has those chips and everything.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
I like the teams though. I think it's gonna be a fun All-Star game. I mean, obviously, it is what it is, or that's not like they're gonna be competitive. I looked at prices the other day just because it's in Indy, and I was like, man, maybe I'll see if it's like affordable to go. To sit in like the nosebleeds for one seat for one ticket, $1,600.
are you serious, Tim?
That's insane.
That was on SeatGeek.
Well, and and I've been clamoring for an Indianapolis All-Star weekend for the last 20 years, and it's like we finally get it, and it's like I've been priced out.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really disappointing that it's that expensive, because this would have been, if this would have been like a, $150 ticket or something like that, or I wouldn't even thought about it.
What they make you do, and this is the dumb thing, because I know this for the sake that like I talked to them when they were in Cleveland, because I thought about going a couple years ago. And Cincinnati did this when we had the baseball All-Star game. You have to buy the package. You can't just buy the All-Star game. And so it's like, I guess if you buy that on SeatGeek, you're buying the weekend. And I think it would make more sense. Like for me, if I bought the whole week of the All-Star game, I could have sold the home run derby if I wanted to. I could have sold the futures game. Could have sold like the celebrity softball game, and just gone the All-Star game. Here, that they don't do that. It's you're buying this, and you have to go to the dunk contest. You have to go through, which I would have gone anyway. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, sure.
But there's no like, I'm not going to go to the celebrity game. Can I just sell those tickets? Like,
I wanted to go too, and I looked at the prices, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Plus, you got to stay in Indy for 3 or 4 nights, and
yeah,
I love Indianapolis for like a 2-hour road trip. Go hang out.
Yeah,
watch
it's not
a
like
game.
the most fun. Yeah. It's not the most fun city. Like, what are you
go to Portillo's and then head home? It's like
I'll be honest with you. Cincinnati is a better city in terms of
100%
things to do,
like
and
nightlife stuff to do. Yeah,
I feel like Indianapolis had a lot going for it pre-pandemic. And the last time I went to their downtown area, it seemed like a lot of businesses closed, and it just wasn't really, didn't have this, it had this up and up vibe for such a long time. And now it's kind of weird. So,
yeah, agreed. All right. Anything else we want to touch on current conversation? Because we're already 25 minutes in.
You want to just talk about the Knicks real quick? Like, they've been amazing.
So
ever
good.
Since the OG Anunoby trade.
We say this as they're losing right now.
Perfect.
They're losing right now, but still, there's no Anunoby or Randall, and they're tied now. By the way, they were down by a lot. Now they're tied. But like, there's no Anunoby and Randall, and they're still competing versus a really good Pacers team.
Yeah, Brunson's got 29 tonight. It's awesome. And Parker, you know this as better than we do. Is as a local kid, seeing Deuce McBride step up from the trades and just being like, I have a spot in this rotation. You are not benching me. Like, I am one of those guys, and playing great, consistently.
He's playing really good. I mean, local kid, obviously.
Did you play against him at AAU?
No, I didn't play against him at AAU, but I've worked out with him before back in the day, because he used to train at Griffin Elite too. And I mean, he was just a monster. He was like, I was like a freshman. He was like a junior. He's working, but like, he was a monster. And it's really cool to see people like from our hometown and stuff playing in the NBA. It's cool. Jackson Hayes having a big night tonight.
I'll say they were high school teammates.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Davenport, Arkansas, which is just wild. All 3 of those guys were on the same high school team.
That's like
and there was 2 more that were their whole starting lineup went D1. I can't think of the other 2's name, but one plays at Bellarmine and one plays at I can't think of the other school he plays at, but.
So it's funny you bring that up. So North College Hill back in the day had OJ Mayo and Bill Walker. And anytime someone like talks about like the thing where it's like, who had the best like high school mixtape, I'm like, and they're like, John Wall, which is great. It's incredible. And like this guy. I'm like, did you guys ever see Bill Walker's high school mixtape? It's the greatest freaking 12 minutes on YouTube you'll ever
Ooh.
have.
Ooh.
It's nuts. The thing, like I thought Bill Walker was going to be incredible. And,
Everybody did. Everybody did.
and he was really good at Kansas State that year.
Yeah.
Playing for Huggins.
I remember there was a guy that I knew that played him, I think, in a high school game, and he said he was the meanest player he had ever played against. I think me and Alex actually worked with him when we worked at GameStop together, and he's like, I played against him once, and he was the meanest player I'd ever played against.
Hearing Ryan Luster, for those who don't know who we're talking about, one of our photographers here at the Riverfront U, talk about his AAU days playing against OJ Mayo, and OJ AAU is like the best story ever because he's like, of course you're like, you know who you're like picking out. You're like, I got this guy. Like, let's see what I got. And it's like 2 minutes into the game, you're like, nope, he's him. That's the guy.
The active guys I've played against both play on the Spurs. I've played against Branham and I've played against Blake Wesley. Those are the two NBA players I've played against off the top of my head. I can't think, but Blake Wesley, wow, in high school. Wow.
I thought
he dunked all over our team. It's on Ball Is Life somewhere. Me getting out the way of a poster. I got way out the way. I was not jumping. Hell no. I was not jumping with him.
Well, I found our social clip for this week's episode.
Yeah. You'll have to look that up. It's on Ball Is Life somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the Knicks. They're so fun. I don't think they're done making moves either. I think they're going to try to fix that DiVincenzo route, whether that's, Bruce Brown's names come up for them as well, or it's just trying to see if they can get another guy to kind of go wrong with Deuce. And I think as we get ready, because the deadline's next week, so that's why we're not going too deep into it, because we'll have a conversation next week on it. I think it's kind of important we point out, just because a team doesn't make a trade that's like in that Knicks section, right, doesn't mean that they're not going to do something, because the buyout market's always nuts. And there's going to be plenty of shooters available in the buyout market this year. Because if you look at all these teams that are going to be trying to dump salary, bucket measure together. What about Buddy Hield? Does he make sense for the Knicks? I mean, he doesn't play defense for shit, but
kind of. But I kind of like their philosophy they're going with right now, which is just get the meanest MFers on the planet to play on their team. I kind of like that. They're going with that old school Grizzlies style right now. I like it.
I saw that Tibbs once again today signed Taj Gibson.
He signed him back.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah,
Number 67 has returned. Back?
How long was he gone for? Like a month?
Yeah, I think he signed
January
a 10-day.
1st was his last game. January 1st was his last game. So yeah, I mean, is that just Tibbs' just guy? Joakim Noah's about to be back too.
Yeah, they're like, all of a sudden Kirk Heinrich showed up to practice one day.
Nate Robinson's back.
I think Knicks fans would go nuts if Nate Robinson showed up in a Knicks jersey again.
Just at the end of the bench, hype him up.
Yeah.
After getting his last athletic performance was getting knocked out by Jake Paul. He needs redemption.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Knocked out cold. That was like the first YouTuber Jake Paul fought was Nate Robinson.
I remember because Steph Curry had that thing where he tweeted and was like, hey, good luck. And Nate Robinson was like, I'm about to shock the world. And after the fight, Steph replies, I see no lies told in this tweet.
Yeah, because that was when everybody was still on that thing like, oh, he's an athlete. He'll beat up Jake Paul. The guy had been training for years. He was really ready for that. And then Nate Robinson's just a meme now. So he needs redemption.
For sure. All right, dude. So this week's flashback I thought would be a fun one as a trade deadline eve conversation. I wanted to look at some of the best deadline deals done in leagues, just kind of whether it was just a pick me up or it was a star player, anything like that you guys kind of remember and look back on that was just something that just kind of really boosted. And I think the biggest one definitely happened last year when Durant was traded to the Suns, because you just never seen a player of that caliber traded in the middle of the season.
At the deadline, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Harden's been traded 100 times during the season, but it was like he still showed up and he was just pissed off and got fat and then got moved. Where Durant,
it was never a deadline deal either for Harden.
Right.
It was always early.
Yeah, because Kyrie was a week, 2 weeks before the deadline
last year
to Dallas. Yeah. It wasn't at the deadline. It wasn't like Brooklyn just
Durant played a few games without Kyrie.
Yeah. And then right, yeah, you're right. So I kind of wanted to kind of talk about a couple of those. Durant's definitely the biggest. That one was nuts because it was I don't know if it was necessarily nuts for the sake because I think we all knew it was coming. He had the
Yeah.
trade. He had the request in the summer. They told him you were too good. We're not going to move you. He showed up and played still. By the way, got like a mixed reaction last night when Phoenix went back to Brooklyn. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think that one's probably the biggest. Some fun ones though. The Milwaukee Seattle trade for Gary
Ray
Payton
Allen.
for Ray Allen, where Milwaukee
That was a big one.
gets Milwaukee also gets Desmond Mason in that trade, who was really fun for a couple of years. I like that trade a lot. I think did Vin Baker go to Vin Baker was in a separate trade, right? He wasn't in that one.
Yeah, I think he was a separate trade that year. What year was that? 2000.
It was right before Payton goes to the Lakers.
Okay.
Wait, do I have that wrong? I think I might actually have that wrong.
Yeah, so the Supersonics traded Gary Payton and Desmond Mason to the Bucks in exchange for Ray Allen, Kevin Ollie, and Ronald Murray. So yeah, he was not part of that trade.
Okay, so basically the trade was Desmond Mason and Gary Payton for Ray Allen.
Correct.
That was like kind of bonkers.
Hachimura just hit a dagger.
Oh, good.
Damn near. Not yet, but wow.
We'll take that. Let's see. There was a
Can I-
couple I had.
Can-
Yeah, go for
there's
it.
One, there's one I want to bring up just because I think it's one of the most impactful ones, probably of the last 20 years, 25 years. So we talk about like when you look at a team that trades for somebody, they're trading in hopes that they're going to win a title. And Durant was traded to the Suns. Obviously, they haven't accomplished that yet. But one that I always think about, and one of the weirdest teams ever to win a title, was it on February 19th, 2004. The Pistons traded Lindsey Hunter, Chucky Atkins, a 2004 first-round pick, and cash to the Celtics, as well as Zeljko Rabraka. I don't even remember that player. Bobby Sura, and a first-round draft pick to the Hawks. Celtics traded Mike James to the Pistons, as well as Chris Mills to the Hawks. Hawks traded Rasheed Wallace, who played one game for the Hawks. He played one game for the Hawks, and he ends up getting traded. It was kind of funny because like he was kind of marketed as kind of like a poison after his time on the Trailblazers, and he was the absolute perfect fit for that Pistons team, and he helped them win the whole thing. And I think about that one more than any. I mean, we can bring up all these star-studded ones all day, but like that one to me was like the perfect move, and it was kind of low key at the time.
Do you remember Tayshaun Prince got traded back to Detroit at the deadline for Jonas Jerebko?
I remember that, actually.
I don't remember that one.
It was the same day that Garnett got traded back to Minnesota from Brooklyn.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago. I was about to say that was only
Thad Young.
Yeah, I remember that. The one I was gonna bring up was, the year 2018 when the Cavs traded their entire
entire team. That was the next one I was gonna bring up.
Traded
Parker.
Dwayne Wade. Who was the D Wade trade for? I think it was a 3-way for like
the Dwayne Wade was traded. Dwayne Wade
second
traded straight up for a draft pick. Yeah.
Okay.
So here let me break that one.
Yeah, break it down, please.
So break it down for you. So this is what happened that day. This was I remember that. I just kept getting updates, and I'm like, the Cavs traded their whole team away.
Yeah.
Cavs traded Channing Frye and Isaiah Thomas for a conditional first-round pick to the Lakers in exchange for Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. They trade Dwayne Wade to the Heat in exchange for a conditional second-round draft pick. And then they trade Jay Crowder, Derrick Rose, and the right to swap a 2024 second-round draft pick to the Jazz, as well as Amon Shumpert, the draft rights to Dimitrios Agravanis. Did I say that right? Yeah. So did I. A 2020 second-round pick in cash to the Kings. The Kings trade George Hill and the draft rights of Arturas. I'm not even going to pronounce that. To the Cavaliers. Jazz trade Rodney Hood to the Cavaliers. I totally forgot about Rodney going there.
Yeah.
As well as Joe Johnson and cash to the Kings.
Forgetting Rodney Hood, that was a starter on that team most of the year.
Yeah. Totally forgot he went there.
I remember Hood was like the premier pickup of those guys. He was averaging 17 in Utah then. He was a good player.
Remember everyone was also going nuts. Yeah, and everyone was
Clarkson people were hyped about too.
they were like, oh, they got George Hill, they got their veteran point guard. He's gonna be really good there. And it was like, he got traded early in the next season.
Who was even? And the thing is, the funny part is, all the guys that were on the roster before ended up being the key players on the championship run. It was like Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith still. Yeah, because of course they kept the core four: Tristan Thompson, Love, J.R., and LeBron. Who was the fifth starter? Jeff Green. He was on the roster already.
Yes, yeah, he was already there. Another one that I like to bring up. This one was great. Back in the early 2000s, February 22nd, 2001, the Hawks traded Dikembe Mutombo and Rashawn McLeod to the 76ers in exchange for Theo Ratliff, Tony Kukoc, Nazr Mohammed, and Pepe Sanchez. That was a huge deal for them, and like he was a great piece on those.
He was Defensive Player of the Year.
Teams. Yeah, he was phenomenal. That was one that I remember very well. I'm trying to see if there's any other ones that
Carmelo really was one of my favorites. So when Carmelo gets traded to the Knicks, so that trade is oh
god,
it's a big trade.
When they traded their whole team for him.
So as part of a 3-team trade traded by the Nuggets, Carmelo's traded with Rolando Balkman, Chauncey Billups, Anthony Carter, Sheldon Williams, a 2016 first, which of being Jakob Poeltl, to the Knicks. Nuggets also, so it was the deal. So it's New York, Denver, and Minnesota is on the trade. Denver traded a 2015 second rounder, which was later Rashawn Holmes to Minnesota. Minnesota trades Kosta Koufos to Denver. Minnesota trades Corey Brewer to the Knicks, and the Knicks trade Wilson Chandler, Ray Felton, Danilo Gallinari, Timothy Mozgov, cash, a 2012 second round pick, a 2013 second round pick, a 2014 first, a 2016 first, and then the Knicks ended up trading Eddie Curry, Anthony Randolph, and cash to Minnesota.
Oh my god,
that was the whole trade.
Please take this.
I was gonna throw in a underrated move that definitely boosted the Celtics to make that finals run was Derek White. They picked up Derek White at the deadline from the Spurs, and that was huge for them. I mean, they had started going on their run a little bit, but since Derek White came, I think they lost like 4 games the rest of the season, something like that. That was a big move, and especially for their future. Now he's obviously a really key player for them.
And they probably should have won that title, let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't. Like, looking back on it, I just don't understand how that Warriors team won a title, I'll be honest, but it happened. The thing was, everybody was hurt that year. The Lakers just sucked. Like, they were horrible, so it was just a year they could get it done.
Yeah, because Kawhi
they cashed in on the year they had the opportunity. They cashed in the year everybody was hurt.
Yeah, because that's the year Kawhi's hurt, and he gets traded in the playoffs. So the Melo trade's great. I remember... Actually, do you remember when the Celtics got Nate Robinson and how he ended up kind of being really big for them?
I remember him on the Celtics, but I don't remember like what happened.
So the Knicks traded him and Marcus Landry for Eddie House, J.R. Giddens, and funny enough, Bill Walker.
Bill Walker, this guy's in every trade.
Yeah,
it's a trade deadline warrior.
He was traded more than he actually played.
Oh, Sean, here's one that's forever goated in Bulls history.
I know what you're going to say. You're going to bring up the Ben Wallace trade, aren't you?
Yep. The Bulls trade Ben Wallace, Joe Smith, and a 2019 second-round pick, as well as Adrian Griffin to the Sonics. The Cavs trade Drew Gooden, Larry Hughes, Shannon Brown, and Cedric Simmons to the Bulls, as well as Danielle Marshall and Ira Newble to the Sonics. And the Supersonics traded Wally Zerbiak and Delonte West to the Cavaliers. That was like when they were like, how do we go back to the finals with LeBron? We have to do something.
And I remember Ben Wallace, but the first season that Ben Wallace was with the Bulls, he was a really, really good piece for them. But the second season, him and I think it was Joakim Noah ended up coming on the team, and like they did not get along at all. And Ben Wallace had like this steep drop off, and for some reason the Cavaliers were like, you know what? This guy's a proven winner. Let's bring him on the team. And I was really, I'll be completely happy. I'll be completely honest with you. I was super happy that they got rid of him when they did. And we ended up getting Drew Gooden. And I was like, oh man, I can't believe they gave up Drew Gooden and Larry Hughes. And Larry Hughes had some really good games with the Bulls, but that team was disjointed and didn't know how to play any defense.
I guess I'm mistaken. So I forever thought the Marbury Jason Kidd trade was a deadline deal. I did not realize that was an offseason deal.
Yeah.
How about the Warriors trading Donald Royer for Scott Burrell in '97, guys? Don't you remember how big that was?
That was I will say one
Oh, Tim
trade.
Hardaway,
Oh yeah.
'96
Yeah. He ended up going to the Heat.
for Kevin Willis and Bimbo Cools.
Yeah. Wow. That's all it took to get him over there. He played some of the best basketball of his career those first couple of years in the Heat. So
Shout
one
out,
of my favorite. Go ahead.
shout out NBA.com has every trade since '87 on the trade deadline deals up on their site. So I'm just flipping through here. Do you remember what the Hawks got for Dominique Wilkins in '94?
Yes.
That's
Uh,
robbery,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
especially
mean,
because he was hurt.
he was hurt. Yeah. He went and played for the Clippers for one season, then ended up going to Greece, I think, and played for a year, and then came back and I think played his final year with the Celtics or something.
The
So
Magic. He played
the Magic.
99.
The
He was the
Magic. Yeah, he
teammate of
played the
Penny
Magic.
Hardaway for
That's right.
18
That's right.
games.
We talked about that earlier this year. Yeah, that's right. That's right. One of my favorite Bulls trades of all time, like if we're talking like my favorite team, one of the best deadline deals they ever made was actually never mind. No. They didn't get him. I was thinking they got him on the trade deadline. They did not. I thought that it was nope, that wasn't it.
I'll touch on this one, and then Parker, if you have one more you want to bring up, great. If not, we'll just get to the draft. Super underrated one. Going back to February 1988. The Cleveland Cavaliers trade Kevin Johnson, Tyrone Corbin, Mark West, their 88 first and second round pick, and 89 second round pick to the Suns for Larry Nance, Mike Sanders, and a 1988 second round pick. Kevin Johnson for Larry Nance ended up being one of the biggest things for both franchises in their respective histories.
Yeah. Well, Nance had a good couple years in Phoenix before that happened.
Yeah, he did.
So, and Kevin Johnson ended up becoming a just bona fide stud after he landed there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, shall we draft?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Let's do this. I'm ready for this.
All right. So Parker's idea for this week's draft was our all-time 80s starting five. So again, we'll preface this with if we take like Michael Jordan not first, it's not because we don't like Michael Jordan. It's because maybe he wasn't Michael Jordan until like 88, 89. So we're just going to make sure we preface this before everyone gets mad if we don't go that route. Not saying we won't, just putting a precaution out there.
Yep.
So it'd be Parker first. Is it Parker, Sean, me? Is that how it goes this week?
Sure.
Okay. All right, P.
I feel like this is obviously between two people here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with Larry Bird. I'm going to go with Larry Bird as my first pick.
Oh, okay.
Damn it. That's who I was going to pick. All right.
Oh, yeah. What a terrible consolation prize you have.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to have to pick Alex English now. So, no. I'm going Magic Johnson.
Easy. All right. I'm going to go Moses Malone. And then I'm going to go Michael Jordan.
Very nice. All right. Am I up next?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am going to go. Let's go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Perfect. All right, Parker, you got two.
I'm going to go here with Alex English, actually. He just joked about it, but I'm going to go with Alex English. And I'm going to go with Dr. J.
Oh, I was going to go Dr. J.
Okay. I'm going with probably my second favorite 80s player ever. I'm going with Dominique Wilkins.
I like it. All right, so I got Jordan. I got Moses. I'm going to go Isaiah Thomas at the point. Just have the two guys who hate each other, just fist fight every day of practice.
Sure.
And I'm going to go with James Worthy, Big Game James.
Big Game James. Okay.
So I just need a power forward.
All right. Am I back on the
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone take Chuck Barkley?
Nope.
No.
I'm taking him.
All right.
So I got Bird, I got English, and I got Dr. J. So I need a center and a point guard here. Center, I guess I'm going to go with Hakeem. played a good amount in the 80s. So I'm going to go with Hakeem Olajuwon. Wasn't what he was in the 90s, but I mean, still obviously a solid
Hey.
pick up there.
Hey, he made it to an NBA Finals in the 80s, so
He did.
All right, and then we're just gonna run no point guard here. We're gonna go with Bernard King.
Oh,
So
dude,
we're
it's
gonna go
so
the
funny.
shooting
I
guard,
had him
small
listed.
forwards lineup.
I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I'll take Bernard King, and he did it.
do I have one more?
Yeah.
Okay. Two. Well, I've got so I've got Magic, I have Dominique Wilkins, I have Chuck Barkley, I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So you did 3.
No, I have 4.
No, you needed 3.
I need a 3. Okay, I need a 3. All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna take the guy who. Well, did somebody? Who did you just pick, Tim?
I have Jordan, Moses, Big Game James, and Isaiah Thomas.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna pick the guy who gave me the meanest mug in the world the one time I saw him in person. I'm taking the Iceman, George Gervin.
Nice. All right, and I will round out this draft by taking my power forward, Kevin McHale.
Oh,
Those are fun teams.
those are. I don't think
I like
anyone
those
really
teams.
lost here.
I like those teams.
Yeah, I did too. All right, so I guess it's my turn to pick the draft.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I already have this planned out, but I'm gonna.
No, actually, I don't this time. Normally I'm like ready, but I'm like, shit.
All right,
see.
go for it.
Oh, okay. Next week's draft will be best 1-2 combos.
Okay,
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Love
that
it.
one.
So, who in Magic's 1-2 combo? Would it be Kareem or would it be James Worthy?
Kareem.
It'd be Kareem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Awesome. Hey, the Lakers won. They beat the Celtics.
Yeah, they just beat the Celtics.
Those bums.
I wanted to bring something up. The Knicks won again. They ended up winning that game. And
9
I
in a
just
row.
want to bring up a question I have because this should not be happening at 23 years old. Is Tyrese Halliburton the new Kawhi? He's on a 20 minutes per game minutes restriction right now. He hasn't played the second half pretty much the last 2 games.
Don't remind me.
He missed 8 games. Why is he playing 20 minutes a night? Like,
To keep him in the...
Is he Kawhi Leonard? Like, this is pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what?
Me
like,
too.
Is he become? And he missed a lot of games last year too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he really did. So I hope not, because I have him in the Riverfront Fantasy League. Which, like, if you like set your lineup,
managing at 23.
if you like set your lineup, you'd probably be winning the league.
Yeah, I know. Probably. I just fantasy basketball. It's tough for me to.
It's a pain in the ass because
fantasy football I love. Fantasy basketball is just tough for me to get into.
Fantasy basketball just sucks because it's like there's so many like just out of the blues, like this guy's not playing, and you're like,
yeah, it's just like you got to update it every day, and
I hear you. All right, guys, we're gonna go wrap up this week's edition. So next week, trade deadline, we're gonna talk about it, see what we liked and disliked. I haven't thought of a flashback segment yet, and then our greatest 1-2 combos draft. I think everyone knows very easily where I'm going at number 1. Obviously, Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones.
Obviously.
All right. Well, on behalf of Parker, on behalf of Sean, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed to our channel already, please take a second to do so here on YouTube. We definitely appreciate it. If you are listening to us on your podcast app of choice, please feel free to take a moment to subscribe and also leave a review there as well. But we're going to go and wrap up. We will see you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys.
See you.